Hello, graduates and supporters. On behalf of the Cal Poly Pride Center, I want to welcome you to our 13th annual Lavender Commencement. Congratulations to all of our graduates. Each of you have accomplished something remarkable. But let's pause for a moment and be honest with ourselves. It's been a hard week. It's been more than a hard week. It's been a hard month and a hard year. And for many of you, I know that right now might not feel like the time to celebrate. And that's okay. It is okay not to be okay right now. I know so many of you are not thinking about your time at Cal Poly. You're thinking about everything else that's going on in the present. You're thinking about COVID-19 and how it has impacted your experience, your families, your loved ones, or your own lives. In the news and social media, we continue to see horrific incidents of racial violence, profiling, and rhetoric targeting the Black community. And many of you are thinking about marching and protesting and making sure that your voices are heard at the very point in time in which we cannot be silent. You are thinking about George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Nina Pop, and Tony McDade, and so many others who have lost their lives to a senseless violence under police brutality and white supremacy. I feel you. The world feels broken right now. In fact, as individuals of underrepresented identities, we know that the world is broken in so many ways. And as queer and trans people, it is a legacy of resilience, resistance, and change that we reflect upon every year in June at a time when we press forward in the face of a world that seeks to stem our freedoms. As our earliest trailblazers taught us in the Compton cafeteria riots of 1966, the Black Cat Riot of 1967, the Stonewall riots in 1969, and so many more, we understand the importance of a mass act of resistance. Pride has always been a moment for us to come together and smash oppression in all of its forms, destroying every closet door, overcoming every bully, silencing all the voices of shame, and promoting every social change needed for liberation. We know that liberation does not come easy for any marginalized group, and that to fight one form of oppression means that we have to fight all forms of oppression. Like many of you, we have been taking this heartbreak and outrage to the streets in a form of direct action in the public forums to stand against anti-Black racism, excessive force, and state-sanctioned violence. You all have reminded us that your generation is the one that is going to push us forward in the right direction. And I promise you that I'll be by your side, no matter where the fight may lead us next. We understand that the pain of injustice is not new, but in some ways it does feel different at this time, right? It seems like there is a greater sense of clarity in what injustice looks like and in how we choose to respond. Change only happens when we take the time to educate ourselves and hold each other accountable. If we are able, we register to vote and let them hear us in November. We analyze our own biases and find new ways to empathize with people who may be different from us or seem different from us on the surface. Empathy is an essential tool for each of us, and we can foster it throughout the rest of our lives. And I want to thank you for continuing to inspire me and the world in seeing our collective humanity. Right now, in this moment, I hope that you can laugh, cry, smile, and allow yourself the time to reflect on all your accomplishments and on all that is coming your way. Lavender Commencement is a time to honor each and every one of you for your academic achievements and contributions to the Cal Poly and Greater Central Coast community. We are especially proud to celebrate students of underrepresented sexualities, gender identities, and expressions. Each of you stood up to say, hey, this is me, including gay, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, asexual, queer, transgender, genderqueer, gender fluid, gender non-conforming, non-binary, agender, intersex, those of emerging and expansive identities, those who may be questioning, and our notable allies in all their accomplishments and their mark of diversity on our campus. We also thank all of you, the family, friends, supporters, and graduates for coming together to celebrate this outstanding accomplishment. This virtual commencement is unlike any that has come before it, with many video submissions from both the national and local partners. Many were recorded before the events of this past week, and some were recorded more recently. But all of them have wisdom and joy for you that you can take with you. Each of you are graduates in one of the most powerful times in history to be coming of age, and there is nothing or no one that stands in your way from changing the world. We in the Pride Center see you. You are unstoppable. We honor and celebrate you this day, and we ask that you live into our shared legacy. Let's go.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words wanna cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets, it's my drown a mind. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be, this is me.
Greetings, salutations, and hallelujah. Surprise! Hi, graduating class of 2020. Yes, honey, it's me, your girl, Shangela. Say what? Stutters the baby, now I'm all grown up. Shangela, the diva extraordinaire, the drag entertainer, and, your local homegirl. And I know that this is not, your conventional commencement speech, alright? But what about these times is conventional right now? I mean, come on. I'm going to the local Walmart with a mask on. But that's alright, because we're doing what we have to do. And one thing I am certain of, though, and that is that you guys are very much so loved, and that you have these accomplishments that are lovely, that are sickening, okay? And they deserve to be celebrated. So, buckle up, sit back, because we're about to have a number of LGBTQ graduates, civil rights advocates, academic leaders, a couple of my fellow drag race sisters, and some surprise guests come through to give you what you are due. And hallelujah.
Class of 2020. Up next, we have Michael Vasquez, Director of HRC's Religion and Faith Program for our invocation. He is a 2020 graduate receiving his Master's of Theology from Duke University.
Congratulations, friends, we did it. We worked through sleepless nights of writing and studying and dreaming. We spend our days exploring theories and discovering mysteries and expanding our minds in pursuit of the common good. We have devoted countless hours to scholarship and to wonder, to the arts and their magnificence, to athletics and their prowess, to the sciences and their beauty. In our study of literature, we found hope. Through theater, we found truth. Through debate, we found our voice. Through theology, we learned how to craft better questions. And through medicine, we found healing. And through the study of law, we dreamed up just and inclusive societies. We did all of this as LGBTQ people, fighting to find truth in ourselves and within systems that didn't always, if ever, support us. Defining ourselves for ourselves, all while working multiple jobs, overcoming anxiety and imposter syndrome, and fighting to carve out a place for ourselves in the pantheon of academic achievement. Being queer in high school or college or grad school is no easy thing, and yet we did it. Together like family, bonded through our shared experience, we did it. And I applaud us all, not just for the success of graduating, but for the character displayed through making it through the joys and long suffering of academia. It is thus my honor to offer you this invocation, this blessing, as we find ourselves here at the crossroads of our accomplishments and the life yet lived. I bless you. I bless you in the name of the truth you found in yourself. I bless you in the name of the power you discovered within. I bless you in the name of the radiant, beautiful, beloved, brilliant, magnanimous, and proud people that each of you are. In that truth, in that power, in that radiant pride, I bless you to go forth. To go forth and to do good. To be people of character and justice. To be people who tend to their lives with integrity. And who build a world better than the one you found. And when the light seems dim and the road seems treacherous and the days heavy, I bless you also to be the light, to be the remover of obstacles and to lighten the burden. Class of 2020. May you be well. May you be strong and courageous. May you be valiant and true. And may you be a blessing to all. May it be so. And once again, congratulations.
Please welcome nationally recognized civil rights advocate and attorney who has spent his entire career fighting for the rights of LGBTQ people and other marginalized communities, the president of the Human Rights Campaign, Alfonso David.
Hello, graduates. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. Those are the words of Harriet Tubman, the great civil rights leader and emancipator of thousands of people from slavery. You are all here because you are dreamers, who made the effort to turn those dreams into reality. Your efforts are on full display today as you end one chapter of a novel and open another. You are not closing a book today. Rather, you are turning the page. And when you turn the page, others in your graduating classes are also turning pages in their stories. Collectively, these stories have the possibility of being a new chapter of a world that is more fair, more just, and more free. The COVID-19 pandemic has changed our lives. It has affected whether and how we work, socialize, and engage with the world. It has also challenged and forced us out of our comfort zones and into new spaces that are uncomfortable and foreign to us. The comforts of our daily lives and the expectations associated with them no longer exist. We are embracing a new reality that will define how we engage in the future. And that new future is your new chapter. You are the generation that is writing the history of our future. Make no mistake, we will survive this. We will survive the alienation, the discomfort, and the uncertainty of the future. We will process the pain and the suffering of losing loved ones. We will confront the intolerance and discrimination that has been further exacerbated by this virus. And we will survive all of this because of you. You are the architects of this new society that we're building. That may be hard for you to believe as you struggle to imagine life after graduation, but you are the new society. Your education and innovation are the bricks of a new construct that we have not yet seen. And your resilience and your energy and your integrity are the clay and mortar that will bind you all together in this generational effort. You are today's visionaries for tomorrow's future. Don't allow COVID-19 to limit those visions. Let COVID-19 expand and clarify those visions. COVID-19 does matter, but your degree matters more. Your education matters more. Your effort matters more. They illustrate the power of hope and tenacity. Don't stop here because of an obstacle. Don't stop here because this is not what you expected. You've all faced challenges in your lives as LGBTQ people, but yet you are here. We are fighters. We have a long and storied history of getting back up, dusting ourselves off, and rising, no matter what. Don't forget the capacity that you have to overcome the challenges that you confront, because we are counting on you to realize the future. You have the strength, you have the passion, and you have the perspective to realize that future. On behalf of the Human Rights Campaign, I want to personally congratulate all of you on your achievements. In the months and the years to come, the Human Rights Campaign will be fighting alongside you every step of the way. We will not stop fighting until we achieve full equality for all. That is my commitment to you. And I hope that you will continue to make a commitment to yourself, to keep dreaming and building on each chapter in your journey. Please register to vote. Please take action to protect our democracy. Please join advocacy organizations such as the Human Rights Campaign to support the movement for equality. And as you create this new chapter for us, I ask that you envision this new undefined world through the eyes of Harriet Tubman. What was she thinking after having made all those trips to the free North, only to go back to the slave South? What about all the people that she lost along the way? Those who confronted fear and turned back. I ask that you draw on those questions in Harriet's journey to retain the drive to push through the unknown, to freedom, and to true equality. Congratulations.
Up next, a mission-driven executive and leader for social justice and systemic change, Eliza Bayard, who currently serves as the executive director of GLSEN, an organization recognized worldwide as an innovative leader in the fight for equality for LGBT students in K-12 schools. Please welcome Eliza.
To each and every one of you, the amazing LGBTQ+ class of 2020, congratulations. My name is Eliza Bayard, and I'm the Executive Director of GLSEN. For the past 30 years, GLSEN has been at work in K-12 schools around the country to support LGBTQ+ students. And in all that time, for all the big battles fought, lost, and won, there is no victory sweeter than witnessing moments like this, when students like you have made it past all the obstacles in your way to graduation day. I cannot imagine what it feels like to have your final year completely upended by a global crisis. I am so sorry. But what I can imagine, because GLSEN and our local chapters have seen it time and time again over these past few weeks, is how the resilience that brought you this far is serving you now. As schools closed, student communities moved online. As friends struggled, others reached out to lift them up. And as new challenges continue to emerge in these difficult days, students are organizing to overcome them. GLSEN exists to make sure that every LGBTQ+ student has access to the support, community, and opportunity they need to thrive and to make a difference. No matter how big or small their school, no matter where in the country they live, and no matter who exactly they are. There is far to go, but every celebration like today, and every one of you out there, is a glorious reminder of exactly what is possible. So whether you are in Montgomery, Alabama, or Seattle, Washington, Belfast, Maine, or Honolulu, Hawaii, whether you went to school with 50 other students or 5,000, and whether you were the president of your school's GSA, or if you were not able to be out at school at all of us at GLSEN salute you as you pass this huge milestone, and we thank you for the inspiration that you provide us all.
Up next, we have a message for the graduates from a special guest.
Hi everyone, my name is Eureka O'Hara from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 9 and Season 10 and the new show We're Here on HBO. And on behalf of the Human Rights Campaign and GLSEN, I am here to wish you all an amazing congratulations! Congratulations! Listen, class of 2020, you all did it. You should be so proud of yourselves, and especially to all of my amazing LGBTQ and allied people out there, listen, I am so proud of you. It's hard sometimes to have things in your life, especially as an LGBTQ member, that makes you feel validated and important. And a lot of times in our lives, we've been told by other sources that we're not important, or we're not accepted, or we're not validated. And what you've done is you've proven to the world and to the school systems and to yourself that you can accomplish and be successful. So keep riding that success train. Just because we're going through this pandemic doesn't mean that it's over yet. Because honey, you all are gonna slay, mama. So don't try it, don't let anyone else try it, and always remind them, honey, because forever you will have this degree. I am so proud of all of you for graduating. I am so proud of the hard work you've put in. And listen, you're not able to celebrate the way you would want to, party with your friends, but
you can still celebrate online, and guess what? You have the rest of your life to celebrate this day. So don't forget how amazing it is that you've accomplished the things that you've accomplished. And yes, you do deserve all the celebration in the world. So mama, celebrate yourself. I appreciate you, I love you, and I'm proud of you. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Class of 2020, we are honored to welcome the powerful, fearless Congresswoman from the state of California, Representative Maxine Waters, with a special message just for you.
Hello, class of 2020. I'm so thrilled to be one of the Human Rights Campaign and GLSEN's 2020 graduation speakers. I thank HRC President Alfonso David and the leadership of GLSEN for inviting me to join in a virtual celebration of all of the members of the LGBTQ+ community who are graduating from high schools and colleges around the country. Graduates, I know that today's virtual ceremony is probably not the celebration that you envisioned when you began your freshman year. Unfortunately, the coronavirus pandemic has disrupted life as we know it, and it has directly impacted millions of families, including many of yours. However, don't let these unprecedented hardships stifle the pride that you take in your achievements. I want the class of 2020 to know that I'm extremely proud of you, and it is my utmost honor to take the time to acknowledge this important milestone in your scholastic careers and lives. As members of the LGBTQ+ community, you have absolutely proven to the world that you have the courage, intellect, strength, and confidence required to lead a successful life. You have overcome many obstacles in order to earn your degree, and today you're one step closer to realizing your dreams and full potential. I want each and every graduate who is watching this broadcast to understand that no matter what challenges or opposition you may face in life, you must be absolutely committed to the proposition that you are deserving of respect. You deserve to live and love freely without fear of persecution or condemnation. You deserve to thrive in your careers and express yourself creatively without the threat of bigotry and discrimination. You deserve the best that this world has to offer. While there are many haters and naysayers who would seek to undermine your confidence and your right to a decent quality of life, I want you to take my message to heart and never forget it. Many of you have become familiar with my legislative work because of my willingness to confront injustice whenever and wherever I see it. So, as your Auntie Maxine, nothing makes me prouder than witnessing young people like you who are speaking truth to power on your campuses and in your communities and even on social media. Your impact is undeniable, and your vocal resistance is so desperately needed during these challenging times. Resilience and courage in the face of adversity is the story of the LGBTQ+ community. You are standing on the shoulders of brave men and women who have stood firmly in the fight against inequality, bigotry, and hate, and have successfully forced this country to accept that we have a proud, diverse, and thriving LGBTQ+ community that cannot and will not be stopped. The progress this community has made is extraordinary. Just 5 years ago, the fundamental right to marriage was not guaranteed for LGBTQ+ couples, and this right is now enshrined in law. Not long ago, young people had few options for role models, but today we're witnessing the emergence of strong LGBTQ+ representation in government, entertainment, sports, business, and all aspects of life. Though there's much work to be done, this progress is your history, and you should be willing to do everything in your power to protect it. So as I close, I want you to know that I am your champion. I support you, and I'm so proud of you. No matter what obstacles come your way, you keep going. Take the world by storm. Be unafraid to speak truth to power and demand the decent quality of life that you so deserve. Don't allow coronavirus, or any other obstacle to distract you from your mission to make this democracy more equitable, more inclusive, and yes, more just. Whether it is an unjust policy or an undignified, unqualified, untrustworthy, so-called President of the United States, you must remember that the bigger they come, the harder they fall. Put on your mask and your gloves. Continue your education. And when time comes, launch your career. We're in the battle for the future of our democracy, and each of you represents our future. So you just keep fighting, keep resisting, and most importantly, you stay woke. Congratulations, class of 2020.
Not only am I queer, not only am I a lesbian, I am an African American, I am a female. I don't want to just vote for my queerness and my LGBTQ plus community. I also want to vote for all of my marginalized identities. Young people, your opinion matters, your voice is important. We need you to vote. Go out together, get a group of friends, young people, older people, it doesn't matter. Let's get out and vote. We need you. Your voice and opinion does matter. Please go and vote.
Up next, we have a message for the graduates from a special guest.
Greetings, graduates. This is one of those very special moments when we honor you as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of Lavender graduation. I'm a retired professor today, but my work in higher ed began at the University of Michigan in 1994 when I was hired to direct the LGBTQ Center. 3 years and 2 books later, I was recruited by UCLA as director of their LGBTQ Center and as a lecturer and professor in the Graduate School of Education, where I created the curriculum to teach graduate students how to do LGBTQ work at the university level. I was called to do this LGBTQ work in higher ed, I have no doubt. I lost custody of my 2 young children when I came out as a lesbian in 1979. By 1995, though I no longer had my own children, I did have other people's beautiful LGBTQ children for short periods of time. I had not been invited to my children's graduations, so I threw my own, called it Lavender Graduation, and celebrated the lives of my precious students, you, to honor your lives and achievements and scholarship, your gifts to the Academy. I want this last taste of your college experience to be positive for you, to tell you that you matter to the university. I'm always asked why I called it Lavender Graduation. Well, I thought that combining black and pink, signifying the black triangle that lesbians had to wear and the pink triangle that gay men had to wear in concentration camps in Nazi Germany, created the color lavender. It doesn't, as it turns out, but my intention was to celebrate the memory of our lesbian and gay foreparents who died in the Holocaust during World War II. Lavender Graduation, born at the University of Michigan, is now 25 years old and celebrated around the country. It's the legacy I leave to higher education and to queer students everywhere. So here is where this old lesbian gives you words of wisdom for your new life as you leave your campuses. First, as Shakespeare taught us, to thine own self be true. Pay attention to your heart and desires and ignore those who tell you you can't change the world. Indeed, you can. Second, know your history. We queer folk have a long, rich history. People need to know that we didn't just pop out of a bar last Thursday night. Learning our history is resistance, and you need to know it. Third, be an ally for all, even the ones you don't like very much. And when you hear someone describe one of us in a disparaging way, speak out, because silence is consent. Fourth, support your school's LGBTQ centers and this campus pride. It's through your donations that scholarships and services will be provided to queer students known to be leaders in best, just like you. Finally, open a 401k. Who knows what your retirement options will be in the future? Plan ahead. While it's frightening out there right now, fortunately, you're strong and smart and creative. With commitment, energy, and constant awareness, we will survive because of your leadership. As an activist and an educator, I thank you for the gifts you've given to your campuses. I celebrate you for your scholarship, your campus engagement, your tenacity, and your efforts at making your communities richer and more welcoming. I'm incredibly proud of you, and I want you to be proud of yourselves as queer people, as allies, as Lavender graduates. Congratulations and stay healthy. Thanks.
And now, a special musical gift for you from talented artist and transgender advocate performing her original song, American Pie. Please welcome Shia Diamond.
1, 2, 3.
I don't like antiques, I want something new. The world don't like no freaks coming in their rooms. But this beggar's got a right to choose. I'm not a stranger, I'm just like you. I need love, I don't need money. After all these years, baby, I'm still running. Who's gonna say my want is not a need? I get looks that get so dirty. After all these years, baby, it's still hurting. Who's gonna say my want is not a need? Just want my piece of the American pie. You got your slice, where is mine? Lick my fingers on this thing all night. Just a piece of the American pie to break the chains of old beliefs. I'm the flame that you can't unsee. I don't like antiques, I want something new. I got my dignity, gonna live my truth. Like the southern smile, I just can't lose. Let my light sweep across the room. You may laugh, but it's not funny. That's the thing that keeps me coming. Who's gonna say my want is not a need? All those looks that get so dirty lets me know that they're still learning. Who's gonna say my want is not a need? Just want my piece of the American pie. You got your slice, where is mine? Lift my fingers on this thing all night. Just a piece of the American pie to break the chain of old belief. I'm the flame that you can't unsee. Oh, 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 where's my peace?
Hello, dear class of 2020. It's me, Nikki. Hi, guys. Oh my God, you guys are here. Let's take a moment to realize that you are here. You made it, baby. Today, your girl is here to share some makeup tips and tricks to make sure that you slay that graduation look. But guys, it doesn't matter what look you're putting together for tonight, because the one thing you all are wearing today is success. All right, let's get this party started, shall we? By graduating, you have laid the foundation for the rest of your lives and careers. Okay, so I went ahead and applied a little bit of foundation, a little bit of concealer, baked, dipped my brows, and applied my shadow. Now, when it comes to eyeshadow and your eye look, please do whatever you feel most comfortable with. But here are 2 tricks to make it a little bit more unique. So what you want to do is grab an eyeliner, and with this eyeliner, we're going to extend the inner corner of the eye to give it a more exotic and fierce look. You place the liner on the inner corner of your eye and draw a line outwards. Then from there, pull it back towards the lower lash line. And I mean, just look at the difference. Isn't that crazy? Elongated, sexy, beautiful, getting there. And one makeup trick I like to do to instantly create a party on the eyes is adding some crystals. And I'm gonna add one just on the center of my eye on the lower lash line. Boop, boop. I love it. Now it is time for the brightest glow of the year, your highlighter. May it be as bright and glowing as your grades. And if your grades weren't glowing this year, at least your face is today. Look at that. Oh. Ooh. Time to seal the deal with this look, and you can go for any lip that you prefer. So when overlining your lips, if that is something that you like doing, I would recommend putting most of the height and the volume right here in the center of the Cupid's bow. So you kind of pull your lip in like this, and then you draw some volume here. I literally put the pencil in between the Cupid's bow, kind of round it out. And by just doing that, that already gives you so much volume for your lips. Okay, we worked as hard on this look as we did on our grades this year, so now let's seal the deal. Let's make sure that it stays on for the entire day by using some setting spray. Once that setting spray is on, class of 2020, your look is complete. You are the class of 2020, and although this graduation turned out to be way different than you first expected, it is time to look at the bigger picture here. By working on yourself, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, and making sure that you are okay, you are helping the people around you. Oh, and trust me, and if you feel like you haven't figured it out at all in your life just yet, that time will come, trust me. You can use makeup to completely change up your look, but by graduating, you just changed your entire life. Dear class of 2020, congratulations.
Up next, we have a message for the graduates from a special guest.
Hey everybody. It is an honor to be here with you to help celebrate this amazing milestone in your lives. Graduation from college or high school is a culmination of years of hard work, so please enjoy this moment. You deserve this celebration. Congratulations. This is an important time of transition. In light of the current state of our country, I struggled to find the right words of wisdom for you today, so I am here today to talk to you not as the former First Lady, but as a real-life person, a mother, a mentor, a citizen concerned about your future and the future of our country. Because right now, all that superficial stuff of titles and positions, all of that has been stripped away. And a lot of us are reckoning with the most basic essence of who we are. Over these past couple of months, our foundation has been shaken. Not just by a pandemic that stole too many of our loved ones, upended our daily lives, and sent tens of millions into unemployment, but also by the rumbling of the age-old fault lines that our country was built on, the lines of race and power that are now once again so nakedly exposed for all of us to grapple with. So if any of you are scared, or confused, or angry, or just plain overwhelmed by it all, if you feel like you're searching for a lifeline just to steady yourself, you are not alone. I am feeling all of that too. I think we all are. So I want you to know that it's okay to be confused. It's okay if you don't understand exactly what you're feeling. We're all sorting through this in real time. But here's the thing. While this period is certainly unprecedented, it is not a complete anomaly, simply some random coincidence to be dismissed. Now, what's happening right now is the direct result of decades of unaddressed prejudice and inequality. The truth is, when it comes to all those tidy stories of hard work and self-determination that we like to tell ourselves about America, well, the reality is a lot more complicated than that. Because for too many people in this country, no matter how hard they work, there are structural barriers working against them that just make the road longer and rockier. And sometimes it's almost impossible to move upward at all. Because if you're required to work during a pandemic, but don't have enough protective equipment or health insurance from your employer or paid sick leave, well, what is more essential, your work or your life? If you don't feel safe driving your own car in your own neighborhood, or going for a jog, or buying some candy at 7-Eleven, or bird watching, if you can't even approach the police without fearing for your life, well, then how do you begin to chart your own course? And as so often is the case, these questions compound upon themselves. See, if you're struggling already just to keep your head above water, if you're living in a constant state of fear, how much farther behind will you be after months in quarantine and without a job? These are uncomfortable questions. Questions that have dogged this country for generations, but are now staring us in the face every time we look at our phones or hear helicopters circling our neighborhoods. And the tough part is, nobody has all the answers. If my generation did, trust me, we'd have fixed all of this a long time ago. But that doesn't mean we should feel hopeless. Just the opposite. Because what we finally do have is focus. We see what's happening in stark relief. We see how these inequalities are playing out on our streets. And it's not just the communities most affected by these challenges that see it now. It's folks all across the country who for too long have had the luxury and privilege of looking away. We all have no choice but to see what has been staring us in the face for years, for centuries. So the question is, how will we respond? Like I said before, I don't have any easy answers for you, but I do have some lessons I want to share about how to move forward in these tumultuous times. The first is this: life will always be uncertain. It is a lesson that most of us get the chance to learn over the course of years and years, even decades, but one that you're learning right now. This is a time in your life when it feels like everything is turned upside down. And perhaps you're wishing that things could just go back to the way they were. Look, I've been there many times in my life. I felt it most profoundly when my father and my best friend died within a year of each other. I was in my late 20s. Oh, and it felt like my whole world was collapsing in on itself. I would have given anything to bring them back. But that experience gave me a kind of clarity. With everything in pieces around me, I had to forge a new path. A path fortunately more focused on meaning and service. So graduates, I hope that what you're going through right now can be your wake-up call. That it pushes you not just to think about what kind of career you want to build, but what kind of person do you want to be? And here's the thing, you have the opportunity to learn these valuable lessons faster than the generations before you. And you can learn them together as a cohort of young people ready to take on the world, no matter how tumultuous it may be. And that leads me to my second lesson. In an uncertain world, time-tested values like honesty and integrity, empathy and compassion, that's the only real currency in life. Treating people right will never, ever fail you. Now, I'm not naive. I know that you can climb a long way up the ladder selling falsehoods and blaming others for your own shortcomings, shunning those with less privilege and advantage. But that is a heavy way to live. It deadens your spirit and it hardens your heart. It may seem like a winning strategy in the short run, but trust me, graduates, that kind of life catches up to you. You rob yourself of the things that matter most. Deep and loving connections with others. Honest work that leads to lasting contributions to your community. The vibrancy that comes from a diversity of ideas and perspectives. The chance to leave this world a little better than you found it. Don't deprive yourselves of all that. There is no substitute for it. Instead, make a decision to use your privilege and your voice for the things that really matter, which is my third lesson today. To share that voice with the rest of the world. For those of you who feel invisible, please know that your story matters. Your ideas matter. Your experiences matter. Your vision for what our world can and should be matters. So don't ever, ever let anyone tell you that you're too angry or that you should keep your mouth shut. There will always be those who want to keep you silent, to have you be seen but not heard. Or maybe they don't even want to see you at all. But those people don't know your story. And if you listen to them, then nothing will ever change. So it's up to you to speak up when you or someone you know isn't being heard. It's up to you to speak out against cruelty, dishonesty, bigotry, all of it. It's up to you to march hand in hand with your allies, to stand peacefully with dignity and purpose on the front lines in the fight for justice. And here's the last part. It's up to you to couple every protest with plans and policies, with organizing and mobilizing and voting. And that's my final piece of advice. Graduates, anger is a powerful force. It can be a useful force. But left on its own, it will only corrode and destroy and sow chaos on the inside and out. But when anger is focused, when it's channeled into something more, oh, that is the stuff that changes history. Dr. King was angry. Sojourner Truth was angry. Lucretia Mott, Cesar Chavez, the folks at Stonewall, they were all angry. But those folks were also driven by compassion, by principle, by hope. And so they took advantage of whatever resources they had in their own time, thundering from the pulpit and the convention floor, penning letters from a jail cell, standing up for their rights in the face of police violence. They built coalitions with folks like them and different from them. They got fluent in the language of power. They sat down with leaders they disagreed with because they knew that if they wanted their vision to be made real, it needed to be made law. It needed to be voiced not just on the streets, but in the halls of power. It needed to be carried not just by the housekeeper and the shift worker, but by the senator and the congresswoman, and yes, the president of the United States. So graduates, it is your time now. And look, our democracy isn't perfect, but I have traveled the world and seen the governments and people in so many other countries. And I can tell you that our democracy is sturdy. And yes, it still works. But it doesn't work if you silence yourselves. It does not work if you disengage from the process. And we're seeing the consequences of that right now. But if you hold strong with the same faith that carried all those giants before you toward real, measurable progress, you will change the course of history. So what does that mean for your time? It starts where change always starts. In your own home, in your own social circles, in your own neighborhoods, at your own dinner tables. Sometimes it's easy to stand with strangers at a protest than it is to challenge someone in your own backyard. So if you hear people expressing bigoted views or talking down to those people, it is up to you to call them out. Because we won't solve anything if we're only willing to do what's easiest. We've got to make hard choices and sacrifices in our own lives. So if you're spending a lot of time just hashtagging and posting right now, that's useful, especially during a pandemic, but it's only a beginning. Go further. Send all your friends a link to register to vote. Text everybody you know to join you in exercising their constitutional right to protest. Ask yourself, do you know where your polling place is? Do you know when your primary elections are held? Do you know how to request a mail-in ballot? Who are the incumbents and the candidates at every level of government, not just president, but state representative, city council, prosecutor, sheriff? And don't just ask yourselves these questions. Ask your friends, your family, ask everyone you see in your neighborhood. And while we're reaching out, please, let's give everyone who's working toward progress space to be themselves. Everybody's got to vote when the time comes. But the activism that leads up to that day comes in many forms. Some want to march right up in front. Others prefer to stay back. Some kneel in the pews, others on the street corner. Some canvass their neighborhoods, others run for office. Some do an honest day's work and raise good kids. Others choose to focus on their education and use that degree to address these issues and build a better life for themselves and those around them. Graduates, it's all important, and we need every bit of it. So we cannot allow our hurt and our frustration to turn us against each other, to cancel somebody else's point of view if we don't agree with every last bit of their approach. That kind of thinking only divides us and distracts us from our higher calling. It is the gum in the wheel of progress. Graduates, this is how you can finish the work that the generations before you have started. By staying open and hopeful, even in the tough times. By channeling that discomfort you feel into activism and a democracy that was designed to respond to those who vote. And here's the thing, I know you can do it, because over these many years, I've seen exactly who you are. I've seen your creativity and your talent and your resourcefulness. I've seen you speaking out to end gun violence and fight climate change. I've seen you gathering donations for those in need during this pandemic. I've seen you marching with peace and with purpose. And that is why, even in tough times like these, you continue to be what gives me hope. Graduates, you all are exactly what we need right now, and for the years and decades to come. You're learning so much so quickly, and I know that not only can you do better than those who came before you, you will. So it's your time. I love you all. I believe in you all. I want you to be safe, and I can't wait to see you take the reins. Congratulations again on your graduation. God bless you.
Our first award will be presented to an interdisciplinary committee on campus, which formed this past year to address a major health disparity in our community, the Gender Affirming Care Team. For context, early in 2019, the Pride Center in Campus Health and Wellbeing began exploring adding gender-affirming care to the slate of available health services for students, providing an on-campus option for transgender and gender-expansive students who seek to align their physical bodies with their gender identity. This group met on a weekly to bi-weekly basis and underwent an intensive review of healthcare services, creating a list of action items and a timeline to ensure access, equity, and inclusion. Our Vice President of Student Affairs, Keith Humphrey, stated that being an inclusive campus means that we need to take the steps in our provision of healthcare to meet our students where they are. Adding gender-affirming care is only one step in assuring all of our students feel welcomed and valued when they seek that basic human right of healthcare. One of our Lavender graduates, Autumn Ford, stated that this is such a monumental thing to happen for transgender and gender-varying students on campus, especially around the time when there's so much turmoil nationwide. It is nice to see something good happen. So we are happy to present this Lavender Leadership Award to the entire Gender Affirming Care team for their collective efforts and ongoing strategies in bringing about this much needed change to Cal Poly. Now at this point, I'm going to turn over to Abigail Wilkins to present our student awards.
Our first Lavender Leadership Award goes to Mark Borges. Many of you may know Mark as this year's ASI president. He has also been instrumental in the implementation of Cal Poly's new Rainbow Crosswalk. One nominator said, as the current ASI president, Mark has had the opportunity to use his platform as a way to advocate for queer and trans students at Cal Poly. He has done an excellent job using his platform for the good of all Cal Poly students, and as a member of the queer community, he has had the opportunity to take part in a few notable projects and organizations. Another nominator said that Mark works diligently to provide LGBTQ+ voices an avenue towards action and ensures viewpoints are expressed in a meaningful and impactful way. He's had an impactful and accomplished career at Cal Poly. I am proud to present this award to Mark. Congratulations! Our second Lavender Leadership Award goes to Lou Eve. This will come as no surprise to anyone who knows her. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say Lou has changed every life she's touched at Cal Poly. We were absolutely overwhelmed with nominations for her. Nominators pointed out the many positions she has held and the many capacities she has made a difference at Cal Poly in. They also spoke of her other accomplishments and ways she has impacted so many lives. We heard things like, she has supported so many younger queer students. Lou has done a massive amount of LGBTQ+ activism work at Cal Poly. She has shown time and time again her dedication to spreading love and acceptance in everything she does. She has spent her time here working towards making Cal Poly a more accepting and inclusive place, and I believe she will leave having made a significant impact on the students and institution. And not only does her presence in each of these spaces speak to her commitment to the queer community, it also reflects how vital and powerful her voice continues to be in the shaping of campus culture for the past 4 years. Lou has made an impact at Cal Poly that no one else could. I am proud to present this award to her in recognition of her many accomplishments at Cal Poly.
Up next, we have a message for the graduates from a special guest.
Greetings to graduates across the nation. This is Lady Gaga. 2 weeks ago, I recorded a very different commencement speech to help celebrate the wonderful accomplishment that is your graduation. My speech at that time reflected and referenced the shared experience of the COVID-19 global pandemic that has devastated the world this year, and how important it is to be a force of kindness in the world as you take the next step forward in your promising lives. My speech was recorded before the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent activist movement protesting police brutality and systemic racism in this country. While my original commencement speech may not be directly relevant to what this country needs most right now, I wish to tell you today that although there is much to be sad about, there is also much to be celebrated. You are watching what is a pivotal moment in this country's evolution. You're watching society change in a deeply important way. This change will be slow, and we will have to be patient, but change will happen, and it will be for the better. In rewriting my speech, I asked myself how I viewed racism in America as it relates to graduation. When I looked past the rage that I feel about the systemic oppression and physical and emotional violence that has tortured the Black community endlessly, my mind turned to nature. When I think about racism in America, I imagine a broad forest filled densely with tall trees. Trees as old as this country itself, trees that were planted with racist seeds, trees that grew prejudiced branches and oppressive leaves and mangled roots that buried and entrenched themselves deep within the soil, forming a web so well developed and so entangled that pushes back when we try to look clearly at how it really works. This forest is where we live. It's who we are. It's the morals and value system that we as a society have upheld and emboldened for centuries. I make this analog between racism and nature in this country because it's as pervasive and as real as nature. It is some part of everything the light touches. But in this moment, all of us are being invited to challenge that system and think about how to affect real change. I believe in my heart that the people who are going to make this change happen are listening to me speak right now. I know this is true because it's you who are the seeds of the future. You are the seeds that will grow into a new and different forest that is far more beautiful and loving than the one we live in today. I believe the path forward to eradicating the blight of racism relies on 3 principles which form the basis of my faith and my perspective on nature and what I believe humanity needs to thrive. These 3 things are time, sufficient effort, and divine grace. We need these three things to be replanted anew, whole and with full hearts, healed and inspired as a country, as a forest of seeds that have been mutated, nurtured by new and ingenious ways of watering and divine intervention that speaks to us all through the great Mother Nature with a voice of compassion. We can control time and sufficient effort. We cannot control divine grace, but I believe divine grace is the faith we can choose to place in each other to prosper lovingly and effectively. I believe you beautiful seeds have been presented with a wonderful gift. The opportunity to reflect in this powerful moment on your morals, your principles, and your values, and how they will guide you through life as it presents itself, and as you wonder where it will take you. Your morals, principles, and values, I strongly believe now, must be sincere and authentic to you. Your principles must come from your heart. Your values must come from your brain. Your morals must be derived from the whole you that you contribute lovingly to humanity. Your service to the global community will be kindness that's custom made by you for the world. In my original speech, I asked the question, what would it take to be kind all the time? Perhaps this question is still relevant today. I wish to frame this answer by saying something seemingly obvious on an occasion where you've already proven yourself smart, capable humans. People can do hard things. You can do hard things. You can rip up and replant the forest to be a vision only you have. Sometimes being kind is hard. I'm sure you could think of a few unkind classmates, friends, family members, strangers, people, teachers from your school, or even times that you've acted unkindly. Even if you've witnessed, though, a lack of kindness, still, moreover, that does not cannibalize the ability for people to do hard things. So since being kind can mean doing a hard thing, sometimes even in the absence of kindness, people can still do the hard thing and be kind. I encourage you to be kind. I do this to set the example I wish to with the tremendous privilege I have in giving you this commencement speech today. When I include that bit about kindness, that's me making sure during this moment between us that I am equipped with my morals, values, and principles for a very important topic. What do we do now? My answer of kindness is simple. But it's mine. Because right now, more than usual, we're trying to talk to each other. Let's talk. But just as you did in your classrooms almost every day, let's also listen. If we don't listen, we don't learn. Congratulations to the class of 2020. I can't wait to see your forest.
Hey guys, Billy Porter here. I just want to talk to the LGBTQ class of 2020. You know, for some of you, school was not just a place to go, but it was a place where you learned how to lean into your authenticity. I'm so proud of you all. 2020 is the most open, loving, and supportive class to ever graduate. And I'm talking to the allies out there as well. So we thank you, we thank you. As you embark on your lives, know that love is the answer. Leading with that always is how we make change in this world and how we make it for good. I love y'all. Congratulations. See you in the world.
If you're gay, then you're gay. Don't pretend that you're straight. You could be who you are any day of the week. You are unlike the others, so strong and unique. We're all with you.
If you're straight, well that's great. You can help procreate and make gay little babies for the whole human race. Make a world we can live in where the one who you love's not an issue. 'Cause we're all somewhere in the middle. We're all just looking for love to change the world. But
gay. If you're straight, well that's great. If you fall in between, that's the best way to be. You've got so many options. Every fish in the sea wants to kiss you. Cause we're all somewhere in the middle. We're all just looking for love to change the world. Well, if the world stops spinning tomorrow, we can't keep running away from who we are. And we're all here in it together. We're one step closer to breaking down the walls. Everyone is gay.
Up next, we have a message for the graduates from a special guest.
Good afternoon, graduates. I'm pleased to convey the congratulations of the Congress of the United States and to bring special greetings on behalf of the House Democratic Caucus, which I'm proud to say is more than 60% women, people of color, and LGBTQ members. I also want to extend my warmest congratulations to the parents and grandparents, families and friends, siblings and supporters, and all sharing in this celebratory moment. Graduates, this is your moment, your success, your achievement. Your degrees have been carved by hard work, late nights, and juggled responsibilities. Your diplomas are not simply recognition of completed coursework. They are the fruit of your faith in yourselves, testimony to your drive, your determination, and your dreams to build a better tomorrow. As you know, you are beginning the next chapter in a time of extraordinary uncertainty. But one thing is certain. You have the advantage of an education measured not only by GPA and test scores, but by the resilience, courage, and perseverance you have honed these past 4 years. And what is also certain, that is, in acquiring this exceptional education, you have become links in an extraordinary legacy of trailblazers, groundbreakers, and history makers. You graduate in the year that women celebrate 100 years since winning the right to vote. During this crisis and in the days, weeks, and years that will follow, the world needs your leadership too. Our goal as leaders is to shorten the distance between what is inconceivable to some, but inevitable to us. As you begin the next chapter in this time of uncertainty, it is even more necessary that you make your own environment. In the tradition of these iconoclasts and visionaries who came before, I urge you to know your power. Leadership is about having confidence in your vision, your knowledge, your strategic thinking, and how that connects to the aspirations of others. Recognize that you are the unique person you are, with your own special power to shape the future for yourself and for our country. You never know what opportunities the futures hold, but we must be ready. I had no intention of running for office or for leadership, but when the opportunity presented itself, I was ready. My strength sprang from my love of my family and the comfort of good friends. So my closing advice is to stay close and to treasure your family and friends. When I broke the marble ceiling and became the first woman Speaker of the House, I said, "This is an historic moment for the Congress and for the women of this country. It is a moment for which we have waited more than 200 years. Never losing faith, we waited through the many years of struggle to achieve our rights. But women weren't just waiting, women were working. Never losing faith, we worked to redeem the promise of America, that all men and women are created equal. For our daughters and our granddaughters, today we have broken the marble ceiling. We have made history, now let us make progress for our new America. Now it's up to you to make progress for our America. The world urgently needs your leadership in government, in academia, in the military, in business, in sports, in community service, in every aspect of our society. So as you go forth, embrace the groundbreaking legacy of those who came before you. Know your purpose, know your power.
Congratulations, Mark, you did it. I am so incredibly proud and honored to have had the opportunity to work with you over the course of the past 2 years as you have served as chair of the board and ASI president. Over the course of that time, I have watched as you have learned to find your voice and then use your platform to amplify the voices of others in the LGBTQ+ community. The work that you have done in this area is something that will be long-lasting and institutional change for Cal Poly, and I am so incredibly proud to have had an opportunity to work with you on it. I wish you nothing but the best in your future endeavors. I know that we will stay in touch, and I promise you that I will never forget who was ASI president during the 2019-20 academic year. I've got you, buddy. Take care, and I can't wait to stay in touch with you.
Is one of the most genuine and thoughtful and selfless people I know. It's really an honor to be their older sister, and they inspire me. I aspire to be like them every day. Watching Casey grow into themselves and step into their LGBTQ+ identities and grow in every other aspect of their life has been nothing short of amazing. They are passionate and they are a dreamer, and if they've brought even half of that to the Cal Poly community or the LGBTQ+ community, I know their impact has been nothing short of profound. To Casey, I know moving forward into the next phase of your life and leaving college behind can be really scary and intimidating. I have no doubt that you will take everything you've learned at Cal Poly and apply it to your next adventure, and you will thrive and become even more wonderful than you already are. I love you. I'm proud of you beyond words, and congratulations on this really amazing accomplishment.
It was a privilege to have met Fiona 4 years ago. She brings light everywhere she goes. She was great in her work as a food science major, but she truly thrived in interdisciplinary studies because that's where she put her knowledge to work and dedicated herself to helping her community. I've seen her combine her knowledge and her passions to create spaces for everyone to feel welcome, to provide basic needs to her community, and to continuously improve her interpersonal relationships. She refuses to leave anyone behind. I admire her for that, and I'm extremely proud of her.
Dear Autumn, I was overjoyed and honored when I learned that you had identified me as someone who's had an impact on your education at Cal Poly. I wanted to cram as much into this short message as I possibly could to enumerate the cherished memories I have of you and to go on at length regarding each of your many virtues. But as I'm sure you can appreciate, I presently find it difficult to formulate my thoughts. The world seems so uncertain, often terrifyingly so, but I also find reasons for hope. One of them is young people like you, with your stunning courage and conviction, and the incredible sense of justice that permeates so very much of you, and the ways you demand the world make space for those it has ignored or brutalized. It's conventional to say that mentors have an impact on their mentees, but that ignores the ways that mentees instruct, impact, and enrich the lives of their mentors. I believe I am a smarter person, a more thoughtful person, and a more courageous person today as a direct result of having worked with you. I would gladly do it again, but you have other, more important work ahead of you. And my only advice to you is to make room for pleasures in empty time. Make room for yourself, and your community will build itself around you. Autumn, congratulations on your graduation, and best wishes to you.
Hello everybody, my name is Janet Brown and I will be speaking for David Udiel, and I want to take this time to say congratulations and that I am extremely proud of you because David has grown as a person, as a student, as a professional in these past 5 years. If I could describe him in 3 words, it would be a rock, a leader, and brave. He is a rock to his community and his friends and to his family. He is a leader to everyone. that he is around. And he's brave because he never shies away from being the first person or even the only person in a room to stand up for what he believes. And he has inspired me immensely through these 5 years that we've both been on our journey. Even though it was 300 miles apart, he never saw that as an issue to be there for me or to be there for others. So I just want to say congratulations, and I am so proud of you.
Hello, Lou, my twin. It's probably not a surprise that I am your lab grad speech person, but I first wanted to say that I love you so much, and you have had such an amazing impact on my life, and the friendship that I have with you is unlike any other, and I will treasure it for the rest of my life. You have inspired so many people around you and within the Cal Poly community, and everything that you have done has left an impact and made such a huge change. And there's no way that I could ever say in words how much you mean to myself and the community at Cal Poly. I'm so proud of you, and congratulations on graduating, and I'll have more to say that I couldn't fit in this 1 minute, but I love you and I'm so excited for you. I can't wait to see where you go.
Hi, Michael. It's your mother. We just wanted to let you know how proud we are of all your accomplishments. You have always pursued your goals with a passion. When you were playing the oboe, when you wanted to join Winter Guard, when you decided to go to Cal Poly, and you've always had this dedication, this determination. It's something not everybody has, and that's what makes you so special. You've had to overcome some pretty challenging obstacles in order to move forward, and I think you've inspired other people to do the same thing. And being an educator is going to allow you to inspire others and continue to do so that they can pursue their passions and, like you, dedicate themselves to what they truly love to do. So we just want to let you know that we love you so much and we're so proud of you.
Dear Gabrielle, I am very honored to have the capacity to speak about your intellectual and personal growth. And frankly, the reason for this is that being your instructor and then your colleague has helped both myself, but also the students that we taught together to not only grow, but also to appreciate learning as service. I think you know that I admire your determination as much as I aspire to your interventionist scholarship. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Thank you for teaching me ethics. I love you very much. Good luck, my friend.
I remember meeting Julia when she was moving into the room next to mine in Lassen. I didn't know it at the time, but we were going to become the best of friends. From staying up late and studying in Santa Lucia to driving up and down the West Coast, we've navigated through college together and grown so much as people. Julia has taught me a lot about what it means to be a supportive friend and ally to the LGBTQ+ community. She has grown into such an amazing woman, and I'm so incredibly proud of everything she has accomplished with Sweet in the Industrial Engineering Department and brightening the lives of those around her. I'm so proud of you, Julia, and just know I will be cheering you on through whatever comes next for you. Love and miss you. Congrats!
I met Daniel through running with Cal Poly Distance Club. He's the kind of friend who takes care of you after you drink too much at a party, but isn't above bombarding you with delightfully bad puns while he does so. Daniel's diploma will tell you that he is a talented scientist. He's bound for the University of Minnesota to continue his research in carbonate chemistry. With there's a lot it doesn't say. He's also a skilled archer, avid cyclist, and sourdough bread connoisseur who helps those around him grow just like the yeast in his bread. I can't speak to Daniel's interactions with other members of the LGBTQ+ community. I haven't walked the proverbial mile in Daniel's shoes, but I have literally run hundreds of miles with him, and there is no one else I would rather run those miles with. I hope the LGBTQ+ community is as proud to count Daniel as a member as I am to call him a friend.
Hello, Timothy. On behalf of the Cal Poly Pride Center, we want to congratulate you on achieving a Master's of Public Policy. And also thank you for all the work that you've done in the county of San Luis Obispo. We know that graduation is a successful ending and also an exciting new beginning. If you keep up learning, keep on dreaming, and keep on doing, you'll travel towards any goal that you have until you get there. So keep up the good work and you can do it.
I'm thinking about how amazing you are. Like, wow. Like, wow. They say I would never make it, but I was built to break the mold. The only dream that I've been chasing is my own. And now all the dreams you have, you get to go out and make them real. You get to be the writer, the author of your story, of our story. And I just want you to know that everything that you need is right inside of you. This goes out to the underdog. Keep on keeping at what you love. You'll find that soon enough you will rise up, yeah. Keep flying, keep rising, keep your frequency high. Keep smiling, keep working hard. Keep standing up, keep showing out, keep being brilliant. Don't hold back. You're gonna rise up. You're gonna make it. Say we're gonna rise up. Yeah. So I celebrate you. So honored to celebrate you right now. Your sister, Alicia Keys, is right here with you. Dear class of 2020, congratulations. You did it. I love you.
Up next, we have a message for the graduates from a special guest.
Congratulations to the class of 2020. Some of you have graduated already. Some of you still have finals. All of you should be very proud. Graduation is a big achievement under any circumstances. Yours comes as the world is turned upside down by a pandemic and by a country that's been swept up by protest. I can barely imagine how head-spinning these last few months have been for you. Just as winter was thawing and you were thinking about spring break, those of you who were away at college were either whisked home or stayed behind on a shuttered campus. Most of you had to finish semesters online, which had its ups and downs. You didn't have to worry about what you wore to class, but watching your teachers and professors try to work Zoom wasn't always pretty either. Either way, none of this is how any of you imagine finishing your final spring at school. Now, even if we can't all gather in person, I want you to remember that a graduation ceremony doesn't celebrate just a moment in time. It's the culmination of all your years of learning about the world and about yourself. The friends and family who supported you every step of the way, they aren't celebrating a piece of paper. They're celebrating you, how you've grown, the challenges you've overcome, and the experiences you've shared. You can see that love in all the amazing ways that families have come up with their own at-home graduations, from drive-by parades to handmade yard signs. The point is, don't let the lack of a big, crowded ceremony take anything away from what your graduation signifies. Go ahead and bask in the glory of your achievement. And wherever you are, take lots of photos. Although, when I look at my graduation pictures, the main thing I realize is that I should have gotten a haircut more often. Now, as was true for generations before you, graduation marks your final passage into adulthood, the time when you're expected to fully take charge of your life's direction. It's when you get to decide what's important to you, the career you want to pursue, the values you want to live by, who you want to build a family with. That can be intimidating even under normal circumstances. And given the current state of things, let's face it, it can be downright scary. It's fair to say that your generation is graduating into a world that faces more profound challenges than any generation in decades. It can feel like everything's up for grabs right now. A lot of this uncertainty is the direct result of COVID-19, the 100,000 lives it's taken from us, the economic disruption it's caused. No one can say for sure how much longer the crisis will last. A lot of that will depend on the choices we make as a country. But, it will eventually end. Vaccines and treatments will emerge. The economy will begin to heal, and life will start returning to normal. And you'll still have your whole life ahead of you. The thing is, class of 2020, what these past few weeks have also shown us is that the challenges we face go well beyond a virus, and that the old normal wasn't good enough. It wasn't working that well. In a lot of ways, the pandemic just brought into focus problems that have been growing for a very long time, whether it's widening economic inequality, the lack of basic health care for millions of people, the continuing scourge of bigotry and sexism, or the divisions and dysfunction that plague our political system. Similarly, the protests in response to the killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery and Nina Pop aren't simply a reaction to those particular tragedies, as heartbreaking as they are. They speak to decades worth of anguish and frustration over unequal treatment and a failure to reform police practices and the broader criminal justice system. These shocks to the system that we're seeing right now, just as you prepare to go out into the world, they remind us that we can't take things for granted. We have to work to make things better. They remind us that our individual well-being depend on the well-being of the community that we live in. That it doesn't matter how much money you make if everyone around you is hungry and sick. It reminds you that our country and our democracy only function when we think not just about ourselves, but also about each other. So, as scary and uncertain as these times may be, they are also a wake-up call. And they're an incredible opportunity for your generation. Because you don't have to accept what was considered normal before. You don't have to accept the world as it is, you can make it into the world as it should be and could be. You can create a new normal, one that is fairer and gives everybody opportunity and treats everyone equally and builds bridges between people instead of dividing them. Just as America overcame slavery and civil war, recessions and depression, Pearl Harbor and 9/11, and all kinds of social upheaval, we can emerge from our current circumstances stronger than before, better than before. But as has always been true at key moments in history, it's going to depend on young people like you to go out there and rewrite what is possible. I'll admit that it's a little unfair to lay such a heavy burden on you. I wish that my generation had done more to solve some of our country's big problems, so you didn't have to. But the good news is that I know you're up to the challenge. You are the best educated generation in history, and a whole lot more technologically savvy. You've been exposed to more knowledge and perspectives than my generation ever was. You're more tolerant and empathetic, entrepreneurial, environmentally conscious. Even before graduation, many of you have already started to make your mark, feeding the hungry, mentoring kids, fighting racial injustice, helping veterans, battling climate change. And now, to see so many of you participating in peaceful protests, to see so many of you of every race and background raise up your voices on behalf of justice for all, well, it's been unbelievably inspiring. You make me optimistic about our future. So as you prepare for the next stage of what I know will be a remarkable journey, I'll leave you with a few quick pieces of advice for what they're worth. First, do what you think is right, not just what's convenient or what's expected or what's easy. While you have this time, think about the values that matter to you the most. Too many graduates who feel the pressure to immediately start running that race for success skip the step of asking themselves what's really important. And too often they end up as adults who only do what's good for them and say to heck with everybody else, and they end up not having a lot of meaningful relationships or not really feeling as if they made a serious contribution to the world. I hope that instead you decide to moor yourself in values that last, like responsibility, fairness, generosity, and respect for others. That will make you part of the solution instead of part of the problem. And if experience is any guide, it actually makes for a happier life. Second, listen to each other, respect each other, and use all that critical thinking you've developed from your education to help promote the truth. You are the internet generation and the social media generation. It's not just how you shop or listen to music or watch videos. It's part of your social lives. It's the new town square where you all come together and meet. In many ways, it's been an amazing tool. In your pockets, you have access to more information than any group of people in history. It's allowed movements of like-minded people to mobilize on behalf of worthy causes. But what's become clear is that social media can also be a tool to spread conflict, division, and falsehoods, to bully people and promote hate. Too often, it shuts us off from each other instead of bringing us together, partly because it gives us the ability to select our own realities, independent of facts or science or logic or common sense. We start reading only news and opinions that reinforce our own biases. We start canceling everything else out. We let opinion masquerade as fact, and we treat even the wildest conspiracy theories as worthy of consideration. And the irony is that usually the people who are peddling falsehoods on the internet or social media are doing so for their own purposes, either to sell you something or distract you from the real issues that matter. You can change that. If a friend tells you COVID-19 is a hoax, politely correct them. If an older relative cites some video to promote a racist stereotype, show him or her why that video is a sham. As a generation that understands social media and technology a lot better than anyone, it's going to be up to you to create online cultures and communities that respect differences of opinion and freedom of speech, and also restore the kind of honest, informed, fact-based debate that is the starting point for tackling the challenges we face. Finally, even if it all seems broken, have faith in our democracy. Participate and vote. Don't fall for the easy cynicism that says nothing can change, or that there's only one way to bring about change. In the midst of recent protests, I've noticed that there have been some debates among young people about how useful voting is compared to direct action and civil disobedience in ending discrimination in our society. The fact is, we don't have to choose, we need both. Peaceful protests and demonstrations are patriotic. They shine a light on injustice. They raise public awareness. They make the folks in charge uncomfortable in a way that's healthy. After all, we're a nation that was founded on protest. Eventually, though, your aspirations have to be translated into specific laws and institutional practices. And that only happens when we elect good people at every level who are responsive to our demands. And that includes local offices like the office of mayor or the office of district attorney that don't get as much attention as a presidential race, but have the most direct impact on issues like how communities are policed. In fact, you don't even have to be an activist to make a contribution to our democracy. If you've always dreamed of starting your own business, go build a company that is a model for paying its workers a fair wage. If you've dreamed always of being a doctor, think about working in a community that's short on doctors. There are so many ways to serve. The important thing is to recognize that this nation needs your talents, your passions, your voice to make it better. You know, it's not always pretty, this democracy of ours. Trust me, I know. It can be loud and messy and sometimes depressing. But because citizens took seriously the mandate that this is a government of and by and for the people, well, bit by bit, generation by generation, we've made progress. From cleaning up our air and water, to creating programs that lifted millions of seniors out of poverty, to winning the right to vote, and to marry who you love. None of these changes happened overnight or without sustained effort. But they did happen, usually because young people marched and organized and voted and formed alliances and just led good lives and looked after their community and their families and their neighborhoods and slowly changed hearts and minds. America changed, has always changed, because young people dared to hope. Democracy isn't about relying on some charismatic leader to make changes from on high. It's about finding hope in ourselves and creating it in others, especially in a time like this. You don't always need hope when everything's going fine. It's when things seem darkest. That's when you need it the most. Now, someone once said, hope is not a lottery ticket. It's a hammer for us to use in a national emergency, to break the glass, sound the alarm, and sprint into action. That's what hope is. It's not the blind faith that things will get better. It's the conviction that with effort and perseverance and courage and a concern for others, things can get better. That remains the truest part of our American story. And if your generation sprints into action, it will still be true of America's future. Congratulations, class of 2020. Make it mean something and keep making us proud.
If you're not going to vote for yourself, I'm pleading that you'll vote for me, because my right to safety and my right to work is on the line. Because we've seen what folks who are anti-equality will do when they're given positions of power. They take our rights and they treat us as if we aren't human. So we need to stand up and make sure that they see us and that they hear us and that they know that we won't be erased when we turn out to vote in November of 2020.
Hello from the Gala Pride and Diversity Center. We're so proud of you, the queer class of 2020 graduating from Cal Poly. We know it's harder and there are more barriers for people who are LGBTQ, particularly in this area. And we really just want to tell you how much we appreciate all you've done, and we're excited to go and see what you will be doing in the future out in the world. We'll be following you and we'll be supporting you.
We here at the Gala Pride and Diversity Center are so proud of all of you. After 4 long years, you've made it. Now it's your turn to go out into this crazy world. Show the world what you have learned from this outstanding university of ours.
All right, Lavender Commencement. My name's Nick.
And I'm Jill.
And Sam asked us if we could put together a song for y'all. And this one's by Brandy Carlisle and the High Women. It's called Crowded Table. So happy graduation, much love from us. And here's a little song for y'all. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I can be
graduation.
Congratulations.
All right, love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Now let me break it down for y'all a little Oprah style, okay? If I may. Now listen, I'm a graduate as well, and I know the excitement that goes into a graduation. You're like, okay, I worked all my years for this in school, and I get to walk across the stage, I'm gonna take that little piece and I'm gonna throw that cap and live and me and all my friends. Okay, we get it. That is something that you deserve. You deserve to be celebrated, but just because you can't have that specific moment, let me tell y'all something, take this in. That does not mean that the work that you have done has been done in vain. That does not mean that the work that you have done does not count. It counts. And let me tell you how you're going to know it counts. Because you're going to be able to walk forward into this world later today, tomorrow, and many years to come, knowing that the education that you have gotten up until this point has helped you to become the person that you are, that will ensure that you can keep moving one foot in front of the other going into the future, okay? Trust me, I was on RuPaul's Drag Race, and I went to the show 3 times. Never won, every single time. But I did not stop. I did not give up because I believed in myself. And I knew that if you wanted something in this world, you have to go out there and you have to work for it. You have to earn it. And that's what you guys are in this moment right now about to prove, that you can earn it, that you know how to pivot, and you have gained the skills to know how to adapt in a world that is changing, ever changing, ever changing. You know how to adapt. And guess what? As Destiny's Child said, you a survivor. And you gonna survive, okay? So make sure that you keep that joy, you keep that positivity, you level up and keep it moving forward. Because I know y'all are gonna be the generation that takes us even farther in this world, all right? I love y'all. Go be brilliant. Hallelujah.
And finally, on behalf of the Student Affairs Diversity and Inclusion Team, the Pride Faculty Staff Association, the Queer and Trans Leadership Council, the Pride Center, and our Board of Directors, I want to congratulate all of our graduates. We've accomplished a lot this year, and we plan to do so moving forward. This year, we made strides with developing new strategies, groups, and student organizations on campus. We built stronger relationships with our campus partners like ASI, University Housing, and Campus Health and Wellbeing. We developed a Queer and Trans Leadership Council with college representatives that will serve as an advisory board. We intentionally integrated our center with other organizations in San Luis Obispo, and we've increased visibility of LGBTQ issues and leadership on campus. We will continue this momentum in our path moving forward. It could not have been possible without our human resources, both our professional staff and our amazing student leaders, especially our core team. At this time, I would like to recognize our team for their ongoing commitment and service this academic year. Ariana Brown, our graduate assistant for LGBTQ student development. Brady Berg and Yumi Aguilar, our student assistants for residential learning communities. Abigail Wilkins and Isabella Matthews, our core programming assistants. And Declan DeGali and Sadie Beaumont, our Learn by Doing interns. You all are amazing, and I look forward to continuing our work together in the upcoming year. To our graduates, we hope you remain engaged with us as alum, and that each and every day moving forward, you can do something that makes you feel proud. As we kick off June, Pride Month, we may not see everything on the horizon, but we know that our resolve and perseverance has never been greater. We will dedicate this 2020 Pride to the cries from our community, elevating the fight for Black lives, combating white supremacy and anti-Black racism, and to stand in the legacy of our resistance. It is time.
It's time to stop being complicit.
It's time to listen to what's going on out there.
It's time to listen
to the voices that need to be amplified louder and before my own, so that as an ally, I understand how best I can help.
It's time to speak up.
It's time to learn.
It's time to scream for people who cannot scream anymore.
It's time to realize that you shouldn't be scared or threatened by my skin tone.
It's time to get out of your headspace and your comfort zone.
It's time to create a new story.
It's time to start early.
working with our children.
It's time. Actually, it's beyond time for compassion.
It is time to learn how to relate to people that are different than you.
And be kind to one another. It doesn't matter the difference. We all are human beings. Es tiempo de amar.
It's time for justice.
It's time to take action.
It's time to sign petitions.
It's time to be held accountable.
It's time to stand up. It's time to speak out. It's time to do the work.
However you must fight now.
It's time to take action, to show your support for Black human lives.
It is time to fix this systemic system.
It's time to end police brutality.
It is time that this country takes accountability and action for all the racism and injustices that our brothers and sisters of color have felt for far too long.
We can't continue to ignore the beliefs, the behaviors, the systems and policies that continue to allow Black people to be murdered in this country.
It's time to let go of the fear and anger you have for people who don't look like you.
It's time to grow.
It's time to speak up with the Black community. No one is born hating someone. No one is born discriminating against someone. No one is born racist. It is taught and it is a product of your environment.
It's time to rise up, unite, and love.
It's time to stand up for what's right. It's time for justice. And above all else, it is past time to say Black Lives Matter.
It's time to say Black trans lives matter.
Black trans lives matter.
So say it with me. Black lives matter.
I am with you all the way, because Black lives freaking matter.
It's time to stand up, speak up, and educate those that don't know the facts. We need to stop these people abusing their power.
Because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
It's time to use your vote.
It's time to vote that asshole out of office.
It is time to mobilize now and for everyone to register to vote for the elections in November so that we can elect leadership that is willing to stop the violence and the systematic racism towards Black people and people of color in this country.
And it's time to vote at the city level, the state level, and the federal level.
It's time to lead the next generation and to stop repeating the same mistakes over and over again.
It's time to stand up. It's time to hold authority accountable.
It's time for white people to realize that in order for our world to change permanently, our actions have to change permanently, not just today.
It's time for white people to be uncomfortable. We need to learn about and understand what white privilege is and make real changes. If it's not uncomfortable, nothing's gonna change.
Have those hard conversations. Black Lives Matter, trans Black Lives Matter. We love you.
It's time for us to use our voices to amplify the ones who have been oppressed for far too long.
It's time to join our brothers and sisters in the fight for equality.
It's time for us to listen to Black and brown people, but most importantly, it's time for some change.
It is time for a change.
And it's time for lasting change.
It's time to be persistent and bold and expect change.
Everybody, please do your part to help make the world a better place, to make it a place where everybody is treated equally and fairly under the law.
Let us unite and be the change that we want to see for tomorrow.
I encourage you to stand with me and let's make change.
It's time to show up, and it's time to say enough is enough.
What have you done today to make you feel proud?
It's never too late to try.
What have you done today to make you feel proud?
You could be so many people if you make that bread for freedom.
What have you done today
to make you feel proud? hands off the feet.